My name is Jason JROCK Houston, and you are listening to Chaotic Riffs Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.chaoticriffs.com, and our special guest tonight is guitarist Bob Bardou from the band One Step From Falling. How you doing tonight, Bob?
Good to be here, man.
Yeah, so I gotta be honest, Bob, I've never really heard of a band until your publicist reached out to me, and I went in, I went on the YouTube and I checked out your current single video. I believe it's for Lung Butter, which is a little kind of an interesting name. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, Lung Butter. Yeah, you want to talk about the video or the?
Well, I kind of thought well, I guess first we can talk about the song itself. You know, kind of the meaning and that. Because I dug the video, and I'll tell people what I really got just from listening to that one song is I wouldn't say you guys are like slam you overhead metal like Slayer, Pantera. You got a metal element to what you do, but definitely a lot of melody going on there.
Yeah, definitely the melody. It's something we thrive on, melodies and harmonies and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's always good to me. Makes it very pleasing to hear. So, talk a little bit about what the song means to you and kind of the story behind it.
Well, the song, it's a fun one,
Yeah, that's definitely what I got out of the video. I was looking at it's a decent song, and then I thought, it's a real fun video. So I think anybody that wants to check out the video on YouTube or go to your Facebook page, I'm definitely going to, like what they see.
Yeah. Well, the song, it's just Steve wrote the lyrics. We all came up with the music very organically. He came up with the lyrics, and just something he's like, it's kind of like what it said, he's tired of the same old thing, It's just a song that's kind of like repeating that, like to overcome something like, just tired of the same old crap that you just want to do something different, It's like something like that.
Now, on that note, I got to ask you, because getting into a little bit of this COVID-19 stuff, I mean, what a different world we're living, especially, I'm here in, Los Angeles, and you're up there in a big city of Syracuse, New York. I mean, I've seen pictures of New York, vastly different than what you'd because of all this lockdown stuff. Everybody's virtually in the house. What's that been like for you?
It's been different. It's been weird. If you do leave the house, you got to wear the mask. It's just crazy times we live in right now, right?
Yeah, and what I love is all the authorities telling you, the politicians, wear a mask, but they don't wear a mask, and I was laughing. I was laughing because they had this one lady. She's the mayor, I guess, of Chicago, and she got caught because she's telling people, don't go out, don't get haircuts, and then she actually got caught going out and get a haircut, and she had the audacity to get on TV and tell people, well, look, I'm a public figure. I need to look good. I get on TV.
Say not as I do.
Yeah. It's just comical, and talk a little bit about the world we're living in. Just to give you a little laughter reality check here. Who would have ever thought in 2020 the big commodity was going to be toilet paper? Just think about that.
Yeah. Seriously, when you really do think about it, you're like, man, I better be able to wipe my butt,
Yeah, it got so ridiculous by where I lived. When this first started going on, it's not as bad these days. But I remember friends telling me, you better go and get toilet paper. It actually got so bad, not that I ever ran out, but one place I was able to go, you got to stand in line outside the store for 30 minutes if you're getting toilet paper or water. Otherwise, you can go in the store. And then once you get in the store, you have to stand in another line for another 30 minutes. And then you're only allowed to get one thing of toilet paper. And then a guy will make sure that he hands it to you so you don't steal the toilet paper. And then you got to go stand in line at the cashier for another 40 minutes. But then, god dang it, I got they only had a 30-roll toilet paper, but I got it, and I've been stocked up ever since. And they made their $30 on me, so whatever. But getting serious now about some music, which is what we're here to talk about. Bob, tell me, how long has the band been around? Like, when was it first formed in that?
Back in 2011, me, Steve, and Pete were the forming members. We started jamming together for a while. We just decided to take it a little more serious.
And then
2013, Josh joined. We had a little member change. We had a bass player, but he kind of left on his own. So then we're like, fuck that. We got. Sorry if I swore.
That's cool. That's cool.
We got to think of another way to go on. So 2013, we were really fortunate to get Josh in the band, and from then on, it just got more surreal. And then recently, we just went from a 4-piece to a 5-piece. So we just added a drummer because Steve used to be the singing drummer, and he just got sick of it.
Oh, wow.
Doing it well, but
Well,
compensating for things. Not
so he was kind of the Phil Collins of the band. That's cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So he was asking for a while, like, hey man, like, why don't we just get another drummer? I'm the voice. People know the voice. I want to sing.
Yeah.
And then we played a show with Ty when he was in another band, and after the show, we kind of reconnected, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll try out," and it's been chemistry ever since. Yeah,
I'll tell you that takes a certain level of skill right there. Like not too many people do. Like we said, maybe Phil Collins, Don Henley from the Eagles, but to be able to sing lead and sit behind the drums and do your thing on the drums, that takes, and still be able to kind of be the frontman. That's a huge talent right there. Yeah,
it was unique. It's different. It was purple cowish, but
it worked for the time being. And now he's out there as a frontman. And now you're the guitar player, I understand, Bob. So I was curious, like, how old were you when you first started playing, and kind of who were your heroes that kind of inspired you to pick up the?
Oh man, I think I was definitely. I was starting to take guitar lessons at like 15. Like back before like YouTube was like easy accessible.
Yeah.
So I took lessons the traditional way. Went to school for a little bit, then I got tired of going to school. So throughout my teens, I was playing it. I got more serious, obviously, when in the 20s. Like, why do I want to like go to school? I just want to play music. So I took it way more serious from that level on. And from then on, like got linked up with the guys, and then we just went for it.
And success means different things. Are different, but you guys are kind of like you said. While you might not have a number one album out there, you're kind of living the dream. You actually made a couple records at this point. You got signed with a label like Pavement Entertainment. They've got a great roster of artists, and so you guys are kind of living the dream, and that's got to be a great feeling, being able to, as opposed to going to a job where, hey, man, I got to go to work today. I hate going. In a way, you're doing what you love, and that's got to be the ultimate.
It's a great feeling. It's like I was saying, it's surreal. It's something you definitely take for granted, and you enjoy every minute of it. It's so much fun.
And now, I think we may have just gone over, so forgive me, but who specifically, like, were your guitar heroes, the guys that you kind of grew up on?
See, I was in the era when Deftones, Korn, the Biscuit, like the new metal stuff was pretty popular. Like, so honestly, Wes Borland is a huge influence on me. I love Borland's style, which is crazy, right?
Yeah, what's crazy about him too is like a lot of people these days, unless you were a Limp Bizkit fan, you may not have even heard that name. But what's kind of interesting is he was in those new metal acts. He was kind of a guitar hero of the no Guitar Hero days, Yeah.
No, not just that he stuck out like with his appearance, but like the different stuff he did with like his pedals to make it tweak, and, like the different little rhythms he did in his riffs. It's pretty fun. Obviously, I'm a '90s grunge dude too, so I can get into so many '90s bands that like. I'm just a '90s guy. Like that's kind of my influences. And it's kind of interesting too, like you said, back when they had all those new metal bands and alternative bands, just like really breaking out big time. A lot of those bands at the time, they were like, we don't do guitar solos. That was back in the '80s, man. So. Right.
And then for quite a while there was like all these guitar gods. They were kind of a thing of the past, and there's really a lack of appreciation. But I think it's kind of come full circle now.
No, it definitely has. If you listen to our tunes, Pete and I go back and forth on like different solos. I would call Pete lead. He takes most of the lead in every song, but as far as like soloing, but him and I go back and forth. You got to get some flavor in there, man.
Yeah.
You can do all the chords and riffing you want, but put some flavor on it. Give some taste.
Yeah. And I've always, what's your feelings being a guitar player? Like I've always felt as a fan, I always dig bands that have like at least two players as opposed to one guy handling everything.
Yeah, Pete and I have been jammed together the longest. We lived across the street from each other back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you're much of an Iron Maiden fan, but one thing I love that they've been doing for over like 10 or 15 years now is they went from being having just two guitar players to like having three guys in the band. That's like just the ultimate background sound there. And I see that you're also listed as a vocalist now. Obviously, you're not the lead singer, but do you do a lot of the backgrounds?
Yeah, me and Pete do a majority of the harmonies and backgrounds. I guess you can say I'm also the loud guy. I mean, I do all the heavy screaming in the band, but I also do some vocals and like other songs. But like Clover, I sing the chorus. But like other ones that we mainly just try to harmonize with Steve and like obviously let him take full reins.
Oh, that's cool. And now I was curious, like, what's your guys' recording process when you went in and recorded this new album? I believe it's called Stuck on the Wayside, and it just came out, I believe, May 1st. Were you all in the same room together? Do you record your parts separately? How does that work?
Well, I think for this one we tried it a couple different ways to see what would be more comfortable.
Yeah.
And what we ended up going back to is all in the same room, but obviously our amps and whatever, like we're in the same room as the drums, so you can hear it, but I mean, it's through our guitars. We're in the same room and then, but everything else is separate. So we kind of just jammed out together, and then we would go over our parts solo, you know, then be like, all right, now we got the bassist down, let's just tinker with it, and, you know, anything that we need to get stronger on, we went stronger on, and then music and obviously vocals and all that good stuff. Yeah,
and so what's you know, the album's just been out a few weeks, or a CD rather. What's the reaction been? Because again, we're kind of living in a new world these days, and you guys don't really know when you're going to get out and be able to do any live shows.
What are shows?
Yeah. I mean, that's a funny thing you say, because there was a time when, you know, when I was growing up back in the 70s and 80s, when bands would put out an album so they had an excuse to go out and tour, and then it got to the point where a lot of bands are like, we're just going to live on our catalog music. We're not going to bother writing or recording. Why? Nobody's buying CDs. And then a lot of bands, you know, don't even need to put out new music. And now we're at this point where, okay, not able to go out on tour right now. I mean, what's that like for you guys?
I mean, dropping the new album May 1st was pretty big, you know, gave a lot of people something to listen to while they're out there, like, you know, wanting new things to keep them occupied. So that was a good time for us to release the album, great timing ahead of time by Pavement.
Yeah, and I gotta say, a great decision on your guys and the labels, because there are a lot of these labels that, because of this, we're supposed to have released our new album. We're not going to release it during the pandemic. We're going to wait till all this ends. But I think
we were told back in January we were going to release it, so like it kind of worked out.
Well, that's great, because again, I agree with you. Even if you're not able to go tour behind it right now,
that's tough.
Fans can kind of you know, become more aware of a new album and check out the new stuff. You know.
No, we've got a lot of good responses. The streaming numbers have definitely skyrocketed since we released it, so we're really happy to see that. And then, just all the positive feedback. So it's once they see it live, I think it'll be even more heavier, you know. Yeah,
and talk about when you guys do get back to playing live. I mean, have you given any thought to like how many of these new songs off the new album you're going to put into the live set, like versus the older material?
Big majority, you know. I mean, actually, a few of them we've been playing for a few times. Like a lot of the music, I think we've played live multiple times because we've been ready to put it out, and we just kind of put it out now. So, but I mean, I think a lot of it's going to be the new stuff. Yeah, and
with that being said, like the thing is, by the time you guys do get out there and start touring, you know, you guys in the band have been living with this music probably the last couple years, and people are finally getting the CD, they're finally getting a chance to check it out. But you're probably at this point getting tired of some of their. How excited are you for people to, you know, hear it live?
No, we're definitely going to be excited. I mean, always just going on stage and playing in front of people is a pure adrenaline rush as it is, and then you hear the reaction to the music you create, and it's just a great feeling. So we're definitely eager and can't wait to get back on stage. It'll be it's almost like it's missing a party, you know? It's something we always did, so it's like, oh man, just want to get back out there, hit the road and do it.
Yeah, and I guess people could go online and check out some of the songs in that and the video, but if somebody is just...
We got a bunch of other videos out there for other singles, you know?
And for people just kind of checking the band out for the first time, how would you describe all sound of the band? Because I can say that I haven't heard the entire album, but I've heard a few songs off of it, pressed what I've heard, and I kind of, I will say this based on what I've heard thus far. One thing I dig about the band is, like, it seems like you got a little something on there for everybody. It seems like you guys are one of those bands that's kind of hard to pigeonhole. Like, I could definitely say off the one, you know, the single, Lung Butter or whatever, like I said, it's a funny video, kind of got some comedy going in there. But at the same time, I can't really say you guys are a full-blown on metal band. There's elements of that in there, but a little bit of alternative. So I think that's the thing. You guys could kind of, when it comes to touring, you could play with like maybe different types of bands, and I think that would work in your favor. You know.
Yeah, we've been told that before, which is pretty cool. Something we definitely take as like pride in a way. You know, like we don't try to be just like narrow-minded, narrow sound. We don't want just to be the same thing over and over. So we definitely like try to experiment, make our songs a little different. You know, different times and different like keys and everything. So we just try to be different. And it's worked out. You know, it's fun.
And as a music fan, I guess the point I'm trying to make here, as a guy that listens to a lot of music, is like a lot of times when you're hearing a band, like I said, I never really was aware of this band until your publicist got in touch with me, and I like what I've heard, and I'll kind of, as they say, spread the love, tell people check it out. But at the same time, what I dig about it is when you're, like a lot of times when you're hearing a new band for the first time, you're kind of thinking, okay, these guys, they remind me of Metallica, they remind me of Ozzy, or whatever the case may be. But the thing is, you get, just based on the few songs I've heard, you guys got a real original thing going, and I think that is really hard to do, you know.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Thank you for that. I mean, we definitely are inspired by our idols and like inspirations like that, but we definitely think we've evolved into, like you said, an original sound, and that's something we strive on, and I appreciate you pointing that out.
And as far as your label you guys are with, Pavement, I got to say again, they're a great little label. One thing I dig about what I do know about the label is the guy that owns them, Tim King. He's a bass player from Soil, and you'd expect a guy like that to sign nothing but metal acts, but he's got everybody on the label signed from like old 80s pop band Candlebox to you guys, and everything in between. They got rap acts, so I dig the fact that they got every kind of genre of music you can imagine.
Yeah, they got their hand in the cookie jar, and they're not afraid to try different things and try to promote different styles, which is great to see in the music, you know. Yeah. Everything just one dimensional. So it's pretty cool that they're taking all these chances and seem to be doing well with it.
Yeah, and I think other cool thing about a label like that is, you know, the label's owned and run by a guy who's an actual musician. He's run the life. Yeah, he's lived the life, and so he's in the perfect position, kind of be helping these bands. He's signing to the label, other people to the label, you know. But as opposed to a guy in a suit who's telling you, you know, I don't hear a single here. Go back and write me something that's more radio friendly or whatever the case may be. You know, he kind of just lets the bands kind of develop their sound, and what comes out is what comes out, and they've been very successful so far at that.
Yeah, our conversation with him made us really like, all right, yeah, let's give this guy a shot. I mean, let's give this team a real shot and see what they can do for us. You know, talk to him. He's down to earth. Like you said, he's in Soil. He knows what's up. He knows how people want to be treated. He treats them that way. Yeah, so it was really cool, and he dug the music. So I mean, that's another great thing. Really
as far as how you guys got signed to them, like, did you send them a promo kit or anything? Did they approach you guys?
No, we sent them something. You know, we were at this point where we were just looking for more representation. We want to push the music a little bit further, and then we sent them like a little like promo kit, like said, an EPK there, and they got back to us, and a couple others did, and then we just liked the idea of Payment a little bit more.
Oh wow! And now, how many previous albums have you guys released prior to this new one that just came out?
I mean, we can count the early demo, but that one was back in 2011 with a few of us. But then when Josh released Someday, and with Josh when he joined, and then we got The Wayside, which is actually songs from the album that Stuck on the Wayside that are part of it. And then we got Stuck on the Wayside. Oh, okay.
How cool. So now the previous albums before this one that just came out, are people actually able to still get those if they want? Like, are they in print still, or?
No, they're still in print. Yeah.
That's cool. And kind of interesting is, I think, when people come to check you guys out is, you know, a lot of people just thinking that this is like the debut album or something. They're going to be checking out, and when they go see you guys live, they're going to be checking out some of that older material and be like, oh, I want to go get that album or that album that came before, you know, which is kind of cool. And now let me ask you, Bob. I always love to ask people, like one thing when I got the press release about the band and the new album from your publicist, I just I got to tell you one thing that really just right away drew my attention was the band's name. I got to ask, that's a cool sounding name, One Step From Falling. How did you guys come up with that?
It's something that we came up a while ago when we just started jamming, and it kind of stuck, you know. We just, I mean, we can all tell stories and how we want to come up with it. But, you know, it's just a bunch of guys getting together, like, just playing music, and then, it's just like almost like a metaphor. We're always one step from falling off something, falling off the edge or falling off back onto something. It's just one thing. We're one thing away from who knows what. So it's kind of like how it came.
And that's kind of like we were talking about, kind of the current state of a world that we're living in. Who would have ever thought we'd be seeing something like this? Just really crazy. And I'd imagine by the time you guys finish recording this latest album, and you got the album pressed and you finally hold that final CD in your hand, what's that like? That'd be like quite a feeling of accomplishment, right? Yeah, we got this done.
Yeah, it's always great when you release new music, new album, and the more publicity and the more exposure, it just makes it more gratifying, I guess you can say. Like, it's just really cool. I mean, it's a great experience just to get the music on any streaming outlet, and to have your own CD and have people buy at a show, want you to sign it afterwards. It's just one of those feelings like, hell yeah, man. Yeah,
now, like I said, these songs you've lived with these songs for a while. They're all really personal to you guys. But what are some of your favorites off the new album?
Favorites.
It's like, they're all my children, and I can't pick a favorite.
Yeah, which one's your favorite? I mean, it's tough. I mean, I guess it would depend on the mood. Sometimes on stage, you want the heavier, faster stuff so people get into it. Or, sometimes you just throw in some demons and get a little more mellow. So I guess it depends on the mood and the way everything's going. I guess I don't say I have a favorite.
Oh, okay. That's cool. And let's talk a little bit about the power of the internet. That's quite a new thing the bands have to use to promote themselves these days. I mean, what's it been like for you guys, or for you, Bob, even to communicate with some of the fans, through Facebook and that? And that's got to be the ultimate feeling. People, taking the time to write to you or whatever.
Yeah, it's a huge tool, that's for sure. Marketing and publicity tool. I mean, it's promotion nonstop. I mean, it's even it's communication between the band. We got Thread. Sometimes we will face message each other on there or whatever. Now it's Zoom. We Zoom.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just everything out there. Every kind of social network platform is just huge, no matter what. I mean, people reach out. It's great. Like you said, or leave posts or share their experience that they've had. It's just the whole thing is just always positive. So it's always it's just a great tool. Of social media.
Yeah, and on that front, I got to ask you, I've been noticing, with a lot of bands not able to go out and do live shows right now. A lot of bands are really just they're getting inventive, and they're doing it they're doing we're gonna perform from our backyard or from our living room or something, and it's kind of, you laugh at it and chuckle about it at first, but then it really is inventive. I mean people could get it to the point where, well, okay, we're not able to go make money this way, but maybe we can do a live stream a show or something from our house or something, and then it's kind of inventive and genius at the same time,
I've seen a lot of bands do that, or a lot of even solo acts do it since this whole thing has been going down. It's definitely a cool thing to see. You're scrolling through, and then next thing catch somebody's couple songs from somebody, scroll through, there's somebody else. It's really cool to see that.
I've even seen people
they're getting inventive with it. That's for sure.
I've even seen people do live stream interviews and stuff where a band will get in a room together and people will be asking, going online and ask your question. What's your question? And okay, so-and-so's asking this question.
Yeah, we've done that. We did the whole ask questions thing, and we after that we talked about maybe it's time for us to play something live. It's been a while since we played anything in front of people, but we did the whole Zoom thing, and people ask questions and all that thing.
That was going to be my next suggestion, but I think that'd be a real opportunity for a band like you guys that are just kind of really, and it's perfect timing too, because the album's just literally been out a couple of weeks,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'd be perfect timing for you guys. Now, before you wrap this up, Bob, I'd like to ask you, I'm an old school guy, as you can tell, as far as when I was coming up, we actually still had vinyl and cassettes and a lot of classic rock magazines and stuff that you don't have these days, and you still had vinyl and CDs. A lot of these kids these days, they like to get everything on the digital download. I'm gonna just buy the singles as opposed to the whole album. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I love the days of albums, full albums. Just put it from start to beginning and just enjoy it. I mean, that's where I've always been, and that's kind of how we did it this time. As the whole album. I mean, the world definitely is evolved to where people want the one single, but I mean, hey, if they want one single, it's cool that they picked that song.
It's there for you. It's there for you to get it. You want that one song, but you get it in other formats, and I dig that. Have you guys talked to the label about even a limited release like for vinyl or anything like that?
We haven't talked about it, but I mean, I think vinyl's been coming back for a few years now. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having a vinyl. That's cool as hell, you know?
Yeah, and even like I said, if it was a limited run, it makes it like for a collector's thing. And well, I'll tell you a funny thing that I get a trip out of is I've talked to quite a few people, like you said, over the last few years, vinyl's made a huge comeback, more than you'd ever think it would have. And a lot of guys I talk to, they tell me, I don't even have a turntable, but I'm starting to get all this stuff on vinyl for no other reason, just to start a vinyl collection. Okay, that's where it's at. But hey, whatever turns you on. But and then the last thing I want to ask you, Bob, I always like to ask people. So we're kind of talking about albums and record collections, even a CD or something. Is there an album or something in your collection that you could kind of point to, say, that's the band, that's the album that really inspired me to do what I'm doing? And the reason I ask is, I don't know if you've noticed, a lot of guys are on Facebook these days, staying home, and they're challenging each other, like, make a list of your top 10 or top 20 albums that kind of really influenced you. And so I'm just kind of curious, is there one band or not really, you kind of have a lot of influences?
Yeah, I mean, the first, I'll just name the first, 4 albums or whatever just came to my head. Deftones, Adrenaline, Tool, Undertow, or Adina, or even $3 Billy. Alex, like I said, I'm a huge West Portland kind of guy. But then you get oh man.
Well, that's a great huge selection right there. Just those 4, and especially the Limp Bizkit, because I think
It's a deep question, Jason.
Cause even the Limp Bizkit one, I'll tell you why. Because like I said, a lot of people these days may not even remember Limp Bizkit, and it's great that you're kind of still, pushing that stuff and telling people, hey, go check this out, because it was good music for what it was at the time,
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what this is about.
It's the one that got them going. It's a totally different vibe. It's probably the best music they've ever put out. But I always thought it was a great album.
And that's kind of what's cool, Bob, about being in a band like you are. You kind of get to say, go out there and you do these interviews, tell people, these are the guys that kind of did it for me, that I grew up on, and and then you can, and they're kind of influenced you and kind of pass the baton, to whoever comes next, That's what it's all about. But anyways, Bob, I want to thank you for taking time to talk to me. It was really fun getting to know you. Maybe we could, when I have a chance to hear the entire album, maybe we do it again. But anytime you guys have anything you want to promote, feel free to keep my number and reach out to me, okay?
Yeah, Jason, appreciate it. And taking the time to the Chaotic Riff, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, and then finally, the interview, just so you know, will probably be going up in sometime within the next week or two. Once it does, I'll be sure to let Barbara know, and you guys are, at that point, more than welcome to post on any of your sites, or just tell your friends and they can check it out.
No, that's cool. You definitely will post it.
Okay, take care, buddy. Bye-bye.